maniacs, it's yellow again. Today we're gonna have a tour and a November update. So let's start with this one. It's a Colmanara, probably Masai Red. But again, the video doesn't do it justice. It's much darker than it shows on camera. Yeah, so it's full in bloom. I think I should have staked it because it's kind of flopping over now. So that is that. My Phalaenopsis minimark is still in bloom. Next, my Tolumnia Peach is kind of... the flowers are fading, but actually I don't know if it's Tolumnia Peach. The tag says that it should be, but the flowers look nothing like the Tolumnia Peach that I've seen on the internet. So I think it might be either mislabeled or it can be some variation between the clones. I like the other side of the blooms, and the older they get, the more of those spots they get. So that is that one. Next are my Twinkles. This one had 2 spikes in bloom in October. Now they're gone, but it has a few more coming, so yeah, it's gonna continue blooming. And my other Twinkle, I just noticed that it has a spike somewhere. There we go. Do you see that? That's a tiny little spike. So I don't know what it looks like. I haven't seen it in flower, so it's gonna be interesting. Alright, my Cattleyas. This one is still in sheath, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is something in there, but I don't know, it's growing so slowly. It's gonna take some time. And that is some exciting news. That's one of my Miltoniopsis, and that's one of the new ones. And this one had some roots, unlike the one that you saw when we repotted them. And it's in spike, so since it has some roots, I'm gonna allow it to flower. Because for really selfish reasons, I really love the flowers of Miltoniopsis. And another one is my long-suffering Nelly Eisler. And this year it has a flower spike. It did have some flower spikes last year, and I nearly missed them because I didn't expect it to bloom. So it has another new growth that could spike as well, but I don't see any spikes yet. So, well, it doesn't look good, but it's looking better and better every year, so I'm hopeful that it will recover someday. And I've nearly missed this one. I've actually shot the video and only then I noticed it. Can you see it? Well, it's actually my oldest Miltoniopsis, and it's in spike again also. And as you can see, the spike is kind of distorted. So this plant wanted to bloom in spring, and since it had all these accordion-shaped leaves, the spike got caught in them, and when I was trying to free it, I broke it. So I was really unhappy about it, but as you can see, the plant still wants to bloom. The only problem is, well, yeah, indoor growing, that I don't have high enough humidity and spikes grow bent like that. And yeah, it has another growth that could also spike, but I don't see anything in there yet. So yeah, the thing is you need to be very careful when trying to free those spikes because they are very brittle and they break very easily. So I'm hoping that I will manage to get it out. Right, this is my Oncidium Sharry baby, and it has a really long spike there, and I think it has another one, but I don't want to take it off the shelf and show it to you. So you got to trust me in this. It's gonna take some time for it to bloom, so we're gonna see the flowers together. And this is my NoID bifoliate Cattleya. As you can see, it's white, and the blooms are not big, and they're not particularly fragrant, so that's for a change, because I have only very fragrant Cattleyas. So that's this one. Next is my Epidendrum porpax, which is still in bloom, but it's fading already. The lip of the flower, well, it acquired some color, but it's not as dark as it should be, so I'm not sure why. It might be that it didn't like the indoors, because when it was outside the leaves were purple colored and now they're totally green, and it aborted some sheets, so I don't know, there is something that this plant doesn't like in here, so well, at least I saw the flowers. So that's this one. Now next are my Phals. I really like this one because it's the flower is spotted and it's quite a bit fragrant, and it also it has mottled leaves. It doesn't want to focus on them. I have to keep it separate because I think it had some mealybug infestation, and I think those mealybugs are inside the media. Well, I haven't seen them for a while now because I've kind of soaked it in the insecticide, but I don't want to put it next to my other plants just yet. And in spring I'm gonna repot it and clean the roots and everything and soak the whole plant in the insecticide. So that's this one. Well, my Phals are all in spike and bud, and some of them are in bloom. I really like this one. And what's interesting about it is that when the blooms first open they are more green than yellow, and then they change color into fully yellow. So. And that's the second Phal that I bought at the same time as the yellow one. And it's one of those Phals that have branching type flower spikes, so they can get pretty huge. And what I like about it is that those flowers are really small and delicate, which is quite unusual for modern complex hybrids, and they are also fragrant. Well, this year the spike is kind of mangled because I had to take this Phal outside and I had to spray it for mealybugs, and the weather wasn't really all that warm, so I think that induced blooming too early, because normally it blooms around Christmas. And it has a few crazy blooms. One of them decided to go over, but it has 2 lips, I think. It's almost like 2 blooms fused together. So that's this one. And I have some more Phals in spike and in bloom. just in spike. This one finally will bloom for me. I haven't seen it in bloom yet, and it didn't really do good for a long time, but well, finally I have a spike. And this one I don't even know what it looks like. It's not mine. I got it from a co-worker, but I think it might be either purple or pink. Now this is my Dendrobium Phalaenopsis type, and I don't know what happened to it. It stopped growing the flower spike. And I actually think there might be 2 flower spikes, but they don't want to grow for some reason. I don't know why. Now this is Dendrobium unicum, and the spikes are extending nicely. I think there might be a third one in here as well. Hope they wouldn't turn into cakeys. I don't know if this particular Dendrobium can produce cakeys like that, but well, I'm hoping for flowers, of course. I've also got some spikes in my Cymbidiums, and they're growing nicely. And that actually might be a new growth instead of spike, but I don't really know yet, so we'll see. And that definitely is a spike, and it's quite long already, so I hope they wouldn't blast. So we're gonna see the flowers as well. I'm gonna make a video about it when it blooms, if it does. Well, that's all I've got to show for this November update. You can really tell the winter is coming and the fall season is starting, and the other plants are just going to rest. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.